Welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday. And I guess thanks for joining us this Thursday for another podcast of Yes, I Am the Veteran. And I am joined tonight by a pretty amazing special guest. I do apologize. We did not come on last week as planned. That was entirely my fault. The first time in 2 years I've ever done that. I apologize. But it happens sometimes. I think the one thing about veterans is just sometimes we have to be honest and candid about when we're not always so strong, right? I think a lot of times we always want to have this perfect persona of how we are and we're doing so great always, and we never show our struggles. And I feel that that's something that we definitely, as a whole, need to work to dispel, just so that way our other brothers and sisters that are struggling know that it's okay to not be okay. And, you can dust yourself off, get back up, and rise further than you ever imagined. So I guess that's my thoughts anyway. But before I get too carried away on my soapbox, I'd like to introduce our guest. Or Dave, did you want to introduce yourself?
I guess I could do that. Hello, nice to meet you, Brandy. My name is Dave Chevanoff. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for Blankets of Honor out of Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania.
Absolutely. Well, I think Blankets of Honor is amazing. Like I've heard about you guys when I was airbacked. So I think that what you guys do is amazing. Like, how long have you guys been around for?
Well, reality, we've only been around since this last 2 years have just been a blur since 2020. Actually, we started technically in like January of 2020.
Okay.
And then of course COVID hit, and that kind of.
Yeah, I was wondering, did it stem out of COVID? Was it like a COVID project that became what it was? Like, I know we had May Cryer on, one of the last surviving Rosies, and during COVID, she made 5,000 cloth Rosie the Riveter-esque style masks during that time to kind of like help where she could. So I didn't know if that was something that kind of.
No, actually, it stemmed before COVID hit. I mean, literally, like I said, January, February. I think February was our first one. And it just kind of started out of a group of us, started out of a local Legion Rider committee, basically, and it just kind of went from there. The story behind it is because our CEO, Manny Acuna, got a quote of valor when he got home from over in the sandbox, and that kind of, that sort of started the grassroots of it, and he just kind of liked the whole premise and the idea.
Yep. I was not deployed, but I was air evac from Ramstein. And when I was, they made sure that I had a quilt given to me. And I was like, well, I wasn't deployed. I don't deserve one. And they're like, you're in a wheelchair, though, so you can have one. Like, we'd like you to have it. And I was like, well, are you sure? I don't feel honored that I can take one. I didn't deploy. And they were like, no, please take one. And it meant everything to me. And also, like, what people don't tell you is it hurts your butt to sit in a wheelchair all day. Unless you have like entire neuropathy or paralysis, you feel it after a solid day. So like sitting on that quilt, because I was never given like the Center for the Intrepid or the Fisher House like badass wheelchair. Like I got the like one step above like the ER wheelchairs that like you have people steal just to like go joyriding in. Like that's basically what I had. So like that was that quilt, man, like it was amazing. I had it for years. So I mean, I think that's awesome. I know when I was a kid, I used to help tie quilts for my youth group for families and stuff like that. What is the most common type of quilt you guys make?
Well, let me kind of disseminate here between us and we're Blankets of Honor. We give out blankets with the insignia of whatever branch you served in as the blanket. Quilts of Valor is a different animal.
I'm just in general talking about like how amazing it was to have.
Yeah.
Me when I was in true need, like I understand fully. I'm not trying to disrespect.
I just wanted to, for anyone listening and watching, to kind of explain the differences. It's been a struggle for the last 2 years trying to disseminate.
I'm sorry. I'm not helping at all.
But we're it's the same team as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we're still out there trying to help show our veterans that they are honored and respected and not forgotten. So, but like I said, what we do is we give out full queen size, thick fleece blankets of, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine, whatever their branch is, um, and that's what we drape them with. So we also give out to first responders. So we give them blue line blankets, and we haven't given any out to EMS or fire yet.
Really?
Yes,
Oh man, you can
weirdly
be some
enough.
ones with like
We've
stars.
given a lot of blue lines out though.
Really?
And then we also do Gold Star.
I was gonna say
Um,
I've heard that you've done quite a bit of work with Gold Star families.
and then we also do supporters as well, like or caretakers.
Yep,
That
and that's
nature.
important too, and that's something that's not talked about enough, especially with military families or like surviving spouses or just spouses in general. Like it's really difficult to care for someone, especially if they have significant amounts of needs. I know for me, when I was disabled, well, I still am disabled, but when I was in my wheelchair and I mean, I couldn't get in and out of the shower, I couldn't do anything for myself. It was hard, and it was hard for my spouse. It wasn't something that he signed up for. It happened. And a lot of people, when they hear that for better or for worse part of the wedding vows, like they tend to skip that part. But sometimes like you are your worst self, but you don't have the tools to deal with that. So I think that it's great that you offer that type of support for families too, so they feel that sense of community with your organization.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We try and that's one thing that like we pride ourselves in, that we touch all the basis and the whole gamut of everything, and like you said, you got that quilt. You're like, well, I didn't deploy. And that's the people we give blankets out that kind of exactly that same situation are the ones that really deserve it more. If you think it, because they're like, well, I wasn't over there. I didn't go do anything. I like they like it's just
You
they
said to
feel
minimize your
like
service.
they give people, they get looked down upon or whatever. They weren't active duty. They weren't, and then it's like, well, I didn't do this. I didn't do anything. But you
Yep.
still sign that piece of paper. You
Raise your
still
right hand.
did it,
Yep.
and that's all we care about. So
Yep. We had a shooting event earlier this year, and we had a lot of senior women veterans that came out to the event because it was a free concealed carry class. So women came from all over the state to come to it because everything was paid for. We were able to sponsor all of it. But they would tell us, like, should we just go home? Like, we didn't deploy. We weren't combat oriented. We're older veterans, and I'm just like, we're happy to have you ladies. Like, if you're willing to take the class, we're willing to have you, absolutely. But you very much, I think a lot of us, we tend to judge or compartmentalize, and it shouldn't happen that way. At the end of the day, like there's a lot of things that I can relate to, like my combat injured brothers and sisters, because of the nature of my injuries. Like I have foot drop and a lot of the same like prosthetics and things like that, or even just like frustration with like getting out of the shower and tripping on your own leg or something, things like that, where
yeah,
you can just identify. And we tend to separate so much, and it's like that shouldn't happen that way. It should be just people are just coming together. And I think that your organization, not like differentiating, the veterans are really getting to reach out, especially right now more than ever. There's a crazy amount of homeless veterans. Like the homeless veteran statistic in California is staggering. The amount of new veteran homeless cases is like what, 22,000 or something obscene. And that's
yeah,
just once they're counted, right? And a lot of them aren't. So it's probably significantly higher, and they've been out of resources since July. A nice warm blanket, nice warm socks, clothes, like that stuff's invaluable, and having those things, like if a veteran or a caregiver or someone was interested, like what would they do as far as reaching out to your organization for a blanket?
um, simply actually we all they need to go is go on blanketsofhonor.org, and
Okay.
there's a link right on there. As soon as you get on the front page, I mean, it's either nominate a hero or nominate someone today. It's two different kind of wording
I
there.
think it's nominate someone today. I think it
Yeah,
is.
there's two different um, links in there, but it's all the same. It's just a Google form you fill out to the best of your knowledge, um, and we have everything in there because we try and personalize it. So we're really like we strive to be that group. We go to them.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, Saturday we're driving 3 hours north of of here and going and visiting a 90-some-year-old Korean war vet.
Wow.
His granddaughter nominated him. So we're driving 3 hours north to give him his 20 minutes and then driving right back. But that's what we like to put ourselves out there and be that different. Like, we don't want to be just mailing it in. We want to kind of be there. And,
yeah.
So more information we can get on that form, the more personal we can make it.
Really?
And Manny, our CEO, Manny Kuna, he does most of the. I've done 5% of them. He's done 95%. Well, actually, I lie.
Oh, this 5%.
I lie. Our other, his wife Kim, she's our treasurer. She's done a couple, and my wife Stacy, she's a admin, CAO. Yeah, I get this mixed up. COA. She's
CAO,
done,
you.
Yeah, she's done they've done a handful, but Manny does predominantly, what the bulk of them. It's just because he's a speaker. He's really out there, and he's also Marine, so he's got that going for him, I guess.
Oh yeah, they love being
boisterous.
An audience always. It's always
right.
That's their spot. Yeah.
Exactly, but he's good at because we have on there, if you know their service information or what they were, their rank, and not a lot of people know their family history and know what their grandfather or uncle or brother or sister or whatever served and what they did and who they are. So he can usually get some information out of them that me doing it, I'm not going to be able to.
Yeah.
So I don't have that connection.
And you can also request, so there's the Freedom of Information Act. So anyone that's looking to find things about their family service, you can request it on that person with the information you have, or that person can request it if they wanted to do that. And it would give them everything on their service. So like their 214, like, anything that they had scanned in that is not classified, like they can provide it over. Because I've done FOIA requests on myself. That's how I found out the results of investigations that were done after I was AirVac. But yeah, I was so mad. But either way, though, you can definitely do that. But I think that's amazing. Like when I was in high school, we had a quilting class because I'm country. I'm from northern Wisconsin, and that's the total class, an FFA class. Still, they call it that still to this day. It's funny. I don't think there isn't. Is there still an FFA? I know there's FHA. That's what it was.
I think there's FFA still.
FFA still there, yeah. But FHA was they rebranded or something. But there was a quilting class, and I made a giant Air Force insignia one, and I had it like with like the serger where it had like the insignia with like the giant machine that like puts the batting and everything all together, and it looks all amazing. And then my ex-husband like left it in the storage. I was so mad. But I was like, it took so long. And then actually quilting is dangerous. Like we had a girl cut her tip of her finger off in a quilting accident. Like, like those Fisker, like those pizza slicer fabric cutters.
Yeah.
Down on the tip of her finger, and then she went to take her finger, and the finger went that way. And so, like, everyone's quilts, it was like Carrie, basically. But I was like, would you really, you're going to keep doing that? Can you stop, please? Like, people have, like you might have missed one. I'm just saying.
I never thought of that. I think quilting, you have the little doodads. Crochet needles, I guess.
I just do like the standard log cabin type quilts, or I know some people that do like the tie quilts, or there's so many types, pinwheels, like there's so many.
Not in my ballpark.
I just didn't have like the space for the longest time, and now I have the space. I'm just lazy. I don't have a good excuse, so I need to get back on it. I was hoping to start getting more into that. But if you have anybody that wants to be a volunteer, like if would they just go on blanketsofhonor.org as well and sign up to volunteer?
There is a sheet somewhere on there. To be honest with you, I could not tell you off the top of my head, but
it's like one of the tabs, I think.
What's that?
I believe it was one of the tabs.
It's probably there's a contact tab. You could easily just go up there and reach out. My email is somewhere strung on there. There's also About Us where you can go and see the 5 of us, and all our emails are also there. So there's many ways to get in contact us. But yeah, we're based out of E-Town, but we're trying to go more. Like we're willing to go nationally. We've hit quite a few number of states I think, yeah, 8 to be exact. So Manny's gone out to. He's happened to do a Wounded Warrior thing out in Washington State, and he just happened. We had nominees in Washington, so he did 3 out in Washington State.
Nice.
He had same thing in Florida. He had a WW Wounded Warrior thing down there, and hit someone in Jacksonville.
Nice.
We were out actually Wisconsin last year. Yeah, it was last year because I have family out there.
Okay.
In
Don't you know?
Milwaukee. Yeah, they're in Milwaukee. That's where my dad lives out there. And,
I live here closer to the Twin Cities.
Okay. You're more Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah.
Than Wisconsin. So yeah, we were out there because we were going to give a blanket to my stepmother's father, but he had passed. So time had gone, and we went out and ended up presenting her mom his blanket at a family gathering. It was like what do they call it? Like a remembrance picnic type of thing. So yeah, that's our goal. His goal is to like squads here and there all over the place.
Yeah, I know like the Gold Star Ride, they do something similar to that, and they have like all these different states, and like in their travels, they've gone to like all of the states like 3 times or something ridiculous. But I know that hi Craig, but I know that some people like they separate it like it off in like the U.S. Like you have these states, you have these states. Sometimes they just go based off of need. Like I know California and Texas are like the most densely veteran populated states per capita, but you may be out of a different area, so logistics can be difficult at times, especially Texas is huge. It literally is its own country, literally. Like it has its own constitution for several. Like, I mean, it's a lot. Like you actually have to take Texas history like as a college elective to graduate from Texas. That's how Texas is. Like you don't just learn about it and know. You just in case you missed it, like, transfer knob. You're learning about Texas, man.
Well, I think I read somewhere that Pennsylvania is pretty high up there with the veteran population and homeless veterans as well, like in particular, which is amazing. Pennsylvania is a pretty big state, but when I think of Pennsylvania, I don't think of that. It's unfortunate, but I know there's a lot of good organizations.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot in Philly because I know we've had Donnie Hart come on from Toxic Radio, and he does Hungry for Hope, and they do a lot of outreach in the homeless community in the Philadelphia area, especially with like the addict population, to get them like clean socks, shoes, clothes, things they need, just because the winter months are rough. And I know a lot of times, like, we don't realize, how far a clean pair of socks will get you, nice shoes, good boots, a nice jacket, a blanket, a warm place to sleep, a warm meal. We take these things for granted. And, and having these things out there, I mean, you're really literally wrapping hope around somebody. And I think that that's great that you guys are doing that and you're offering that, because a lot of these people that you're gifting these blankets to, they felt forgotten.
Yeah.
It's easy to do that.
And that's our motto. Our motto is, and by the way, I see it, Craig. It's our honor. It's my honor to do what we do. I mean, I myself have not served, and I've put that out there before. I've been mistaken, but I take that as a compliment.
I get mistaken for a Marine all the time, and when I tell them an airman, I use like the looks of horror I get are hilarious.
But I'm come along from a lineage. My grandfather was in the Air Force. My daughter is in an Air National Guard stationed in Hawaii with her husband. Nice. He's actually Air Force. They're at Hickam right now. Nice. So it just, I was a Legion rider for many years, for 8 years, and just kind of just what I do. But yeah, it's definitely my honor to help, do what I do. It's probably the best thing in my life I've ever done, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, it's amazing what you're doing. Like, I've heard about you guys for a while, and some of my other organizations are like, you have to talk to these people. And I was like, okay. So
good. I like to hear that, being a marketing person.
Well, I hear about like organizations that I know of them, or I've done events with them. Yeah. And then like, I'll hear from other people. They're like, no, they need to come on your show. Like, they need to come on. Like, because like, I don't always have people that necessarily come on live, but a lot of times they'll come on later or they'll see it. Like, and the reach is odd. You never know. Like,
Yeah.
I never know. Like, I've had billionaires watch my podcast. It's wild. Like, I'm like, really? Me? But at the end of the day, you really never know. And, you know, for people that don't know, the Blankets of Honor is something that they can request it for either them or their family. That is something that's invaluable to a service member that feels that their country may have forgotten about them, or they feel forgotten about in general, or that they're ashamed of their service, right? Because a lot of us, like, I mean, I didn't identify as Air Force for a decade. You know, I had to run for Miss Veteran America, and I think maybe tell people I was Air Force. Like, it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm Air. No, like they were like, what branch are you? I'm like, do I have to say it? They're like, yes. Like, I was like, oh man. But my family's Army, so I'm like the oddball. And I'm like, I already knew I was gonna get it. Like, I was just like, oh, just go with your best jokes. I'll wait 30 seconds. You get 30 seconds. But
that's probably the best part of in the community. I've been part of inside of all those jokes. Like, I'm not part of it, but I can relay it and
exactly. It's
be part of the whole thing. Exactly, it is. It really is. But yeah, like I was saying, our whole thing is, like you said, about not forgotten. That's the whole thing. What our motto is. Manny's always said, "You've seen the bumper stickers. You're not forgotten," right? And you know, he's a little grayer in the hair than I am. Longer in the tooth.
Wiser than the life experience.
Exactly, he's got more life experience. So you know, he grew up with idolizing the Vietnam veterans and all those gentlemen, and you know, those bumper stickers were pretty. They're still prevalent, but we're taking it one more step further. We're saying you're truly not forgotten by going and giving a blanket to.
You're showing them they're not forgotten.
Exactly. And some of the reactions. I mean, we have all our. If you check, anyone can check our YouTube. Every single presentation we put on YouTube, so you can see all 240 some presentations on YouTube. And we post all the photos. We take. I'm big on that. All the photos have an album on our Facebook page, and just some of the reactions. You wouldn't think some, you know, big time tough Vietnam veteran guy just starts, you know, crying, and it's just like, there's not dry eye in the house, you know.
Yeah.
And we had a guy last fall. We gave him a blanket, and he said this was the best thing he's gotten since he came home from Vietnam.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's like, what do you say to that? You can't say anything.
No. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. If you guys need help out here in Texas, let me know. I'd be happy to help any way I can. I'm out here in San Antonio, but I can definitely reach out to some veterans to try to help expand your network too, and let them know to sign up.
To help you get looking.
And I think that's amazing that it's so many blankets. Like, it's not easy to work with fleece, man. I'm just gonna say that for everybody because it's not.
Well, we don't make ours. That's the difference between us and Quilt Valor. They're just we get them at a wholesaler. It would be great if we could make them, and maybe, you know, once we get up there, we can start producing.
Oh, I know some quilters.
But
you know them also. Male quilter, might I add.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Him and his wife, they're both quilters.
So, but yeah, we're hitting at the 250 mark here soon for overall blankets, and we're sitting. Saturday will be our 99th of this year that we've given out.
That is a wild amount of blankets. Yeah. Like, think about, like, break that into months. Like, I mean, 12 months. Like, that's like every weekend at least. And sometimes more.
It feels like it, yeah. Oh, yeah. Trust me. and it's pretty much the 4 or 5 of us doing it. Like, you know, it's the board, more or less. You know.
Well,
I mean, CF. I mean, it's it's us behind the scenes.
Sounds like it's amazing, though, the coordination that you would have to do that many. I mean, unless you're doing like a blanket drop of 50 at a VFW, like. No,
we've done 10 or 12 at a VFW, but yeah.
Actually, smart. Actually.
Yeah, we've done a whole bunch. I think that's the biggest. It might have been 12 at one time.
Wow.
Of course, we got to kind of moderate it and do it differently, but yeah, we
So,
uh we did a thin blue line game this year, and that was, and I had to been close to 15 blankets there too, to be honest with you. So that was pretty cool.
wow. Do you ever have blanket drives or like sort of events that like around the holidays? So anyone that maybe wants to participate or help with any holiday cheer that they maybe could like sign up or go to check out or support you guys?
Um, not currently. We haven't gotten into that far yet. We tend to go to a bunch of try and get to fairs and events and set up throughout the year. Um, they're more than welcome to, we accept any form of generosity they want to throw at us, and they can, and if particularly if they're listening, watching, and they're in our area, they're welcome. Anyone's welcome to come to our presentation. They're open to public, and if you want to participate and help hold a blanket or you anything, we're always open to that. So we're not getting up there yet that we have a big event that we're going to need like a huge swarm of people at. Someday.
Yeah,
Someday.
that's. I mean, I'm considering you've given out that many blankets and you're so new. Like that's pretty amazing. Like that's substantial, and you're like vetting these people. You're interviewing them. You're customizing it, bringing them everything, coordinating the presentation. It's not just one thing. There's a lot of facets.
We actually, I think I have. Hold on, I know I'm doing a bad thing here.
That's a
So
nice
what?
chair, by the
What's
way. That's a hospital chair.
so to the extent of so everyone that gets a blanket also doesn't just get a blanket. They get a certificate. We have a certificate made for that person.
Nice.
And that's actually curtailed to them, has their date on it when they got it, and it's evolved through the years, and then we actually even have our own challenge coin, custom challenge
Nice.
coin.
Now you're official. That's how
Yep.
you know.
We have
I
our own
love
challenge coin, so everyone gets one of them that gets a blanket. This is only if you get a blanket. So
only if you get a blanket. Dang, you
yeah,
can't even just buy it on the webpage. No.
nope. We do have some for sale though, but not this one. And the three gentlemen are actually three people that Manny knows. Um,
That's
we got
awesome.
the firefighter is a local chief of fire. You got a police officer from Cali, because Manny is originally from Cali, and then the middle guy, he served with him over in Iraq. So, and then we came out with this year. We came out with another, and then we have this is the one that we're actually selling. This is our fall-on edition, and this one actually has three heroes on it as well that we know. The firefighter is he was a local fireman, EMS, and he died of cancer. He was actually our I'm gonna keep myself from not remembering number 4 blanket ever. And then the police officer served in actually I think Milwaukee Police Department. Served with Manny has a brother, a fellow brother that serves also Milwaukee. And then the middle gentleman, that's Manny brought him home from over in Iraq. So that's our fall-on coin. So because people love these, and we're like, you can't get that. So only if you get a blanket do you get that. But we do have these custom made for purchases. But,
Yeah,
and then it's
good to be smart like at first because my grandfather is very infamous in Milwaukee. Do you know why?
What was that?
Well, in Green Bay, actually. Okay. So, like, when he used to live in Green Bay, he tried to water ski from Green Bay to Milwaukee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not close. That's like 100 miles of water skiing.
I've looked it up for a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he did it like in the 50s where you couldn't do it, and he did it on a Sunday. And yeah, they didn't do that in Milwaukee back then. And so back then, like what the guy with the driving, like pushed him up on like kind of on the side. So basically they'd splash everyone in their Sunday best when they went outside from church. So yeah, he got my grandfather. But that's why I was like, I bet you that police officer remembered that story. But No. I think that's amazing that you are recognizing them that way. Like, and everybody that gets a blanket, like, do they have like meet? Do you guys ever have like events or meetups, like with?
We've been talking about it. We've been talking about it. We'd love to get like a picnic or a party of some sort. Get them all together. Would be
Like a
really cool.
blanket family reunion almost.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. But we're still. I know, like you said, we're small and we've given out almost 300 blankets, but we're still small in other facets. Let's say. But yeah, and we also give out a custom lapel pin too when they get.
Really?
So yeah, I just got our order in today, so we try and curtail it and make it a little bit more personal.
Are you guys doing any Christmas like blanket? I guess donations.
Actually, we are. A local a local organization reached out, and we're actually donating, I believe, 10 blankets to I think Blanket for Heroes or something of that nature, up north of here a little bit. So that's actually going to happen next week. Is when we're actually going to
Nice.
hand them over. So that was kind of cool.
Nice. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think that that's great that you guys get to partner and do that stuff. Like I know Nature's Keys coming on with their Battle Buddy supplement next week, and they're wanting to help around the holidays. And they're going to be donating 25. I think you said like the first 25 people, they're going to give us a link, and they're going to give them a week of their supplement free to veterans just to offset like that combat stress and anxiety that a lot of us deal with around the holidays.
Right.
So just to help with get that mindset right. And then there's also the Battle Buddies app, which is so we had Dr. Donna Quach come on, and she spoke about the app that is for service members that are in distress. So anybody that is in need of speaking with a therapist or counselor, definitely download that app, and they will link you up to a counselor that will definitely take care of you.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, I think that I thought it was pretty cool. I definitely wanted to put the information out there. Now the app is for veterans, but the supplement itself, I mean, first responders or
Right.
anybody that would need it, I mean, definitely. Please sign up when we post the link, and it will be probably it will be before they come on next week. And then also, I think they're going to be doing some of the giveaways live as well. But it's just important. Like that's why I was so thankful that you guys could come on in December, just because of the fact that people lose sight of hope around the holidays, and to see what you guys are doing as an organization and how you're basically giving out hope time after time after time, and you still have more to give. Like I really do commend you guys for that. And I definitely want to like help you guys any way I can with quilting, because I need to start using some.
There you go. There we go. We have to get you do some blankets for us.
Right. I'll do this. Can I do the tie blankets first, though? Come on, Rusty. The log cabin ones are the easier ones. To start with oven mitts. That's how you start. You to get your squares right, like because you have to sew all the squares together in a pattern.
Right.
But like your squares right, you actually have to make it, and then they make it into an oven mitt, and that's how you practice like your sewing machine skills. Is you make like a shitload of oven mitts, basically. I think my mom still has some of mine from high school. I'm too old for her to still have those. Like, I'm sorry. Like, what is the shelf life on a quilt? I need to know. If you ask your grandmother, they'd say years.
Especially oven mitt. I mean, you use them pretty good. I can tell you how many times I got burnt oven mitts.
Yeah, right. Well, you use like the back. You use like that flannel stuff that like really holds, and then like some people put like the beans in it to kind of give it that heft and grip. And some people like they'll just like sew like the ever living crap out of it, and then they'll just bat it down. And so basically it works really well. It's just, I mean, I've never lit none of mine on fire, but my sister's the one that's the chef of the family that does it. So not my expertise. But absolutely, thank you so much for coming on. So before we do close everything up for today, I wanted to give the floor to you for some final thoughts.
Floor to me. Well, I thank you for what you're doing. this is a good outlet for everyone. I believe a good chance for veterans to watch it and probably find out some information. And I mean, even I'm not a veteran, but it's really informative for me as well. But yeah, I just want to say, if anyone's out there looking to, nominate someone for a blanket, like we were saying, it's so easy to do. Just go on our website and nominate. Thank you. We are more than willing to go across the nation. Time kind of hurts a little bit depending on severity of where, from us to Arizona is a little distance, but we can make things work. But
it's a hell of a road trip.
we also put, if you are worthy enough, and I say worthy because when I say this, you would know this, worthy enough to know a WW2 veteran still with us, we put them to the top.
Absolutely.
We will, come high, hell high water, make it happen. We get so many.
I have a question. What if it's a World War II Rosie? Like, can you guys send it to her anyways? Because we consider her a veteran and she's 97. We decided. She's a Rosie, man. Like, she's more badass than us.
But yeah.
She's she works with like the veteran community, the women community. Like, for example, when Obama did his famous State of the Union speech where he was talking about women's equality, and we're 90% of the way there, she literally wrote to him and said, if it took 70 years for us to get there, how long is it going to take for that last 10%?
Right.
And he wrote her an apology back. She literally has her mask and cap in the International Space Station.
That's pretty badass.
Right?
Well, she would still constitute as, even if she isn't a veteran, just for what she's done, she constitutes still getting a blanket no matter what. So don't matter.
Like I would present it to her. Like, hell yeah.
You would totally do that.
I don't know if I'd make it. I don't want her to make fun of me because she's so way better than I do. But she's amazing.
But yeah. So yeah, just get out there and check our website, and we're all over social media, as you probably are aware.
Yes.
If anyone has any questions, just they can reach out, and we're more than happy to help out and answer what we can. And Manny is pretty well knowledgeable in the ways of the VA system as well. So that's another side of what we do. We also lend that support. He helps out a lot of veterans with their disabilities and stuff too. So because he's a service officer locally.
Oh, he's a vet service officer. Nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know a lot of those. Felicia Kelly has come on our show, and she worked with Texas Veterans Commission quite extensively, and she was also she ran the veterans claims for Wilford Hall for about 20 years or something, and so she retired unfortunately due to a brain tumor, but she still comes on and gives tons of information to veterans because there's just not enough information out there. I can't tell you, like 99% of all like the Marines records I've reviewed, there's tons of stuff missing. And that's not, and most service members, like they've got stuff they could claim. It's not just the Marines, all branches, but especially from like the Vietnam era, like they get so frustrated. Like, I mean, I've seen veterans from the Vietnam era. One of Felicia's last cases before she retired was a Vietnam era veteran. And I think it was like something like over $400,000 of back pay he ended up getting. It was something obscene, and that's not the majority. Right. It's definitely the minority, but it definitely is something that a lot of veterans, they leave their money on the table. And that's probably my biggest speech besides use your platform appropriately. That's like my other speech. But like, I get after the celebrity veterans. But at the end of the day, though, people, they just leave their blood money on the table. And Uncle Sam, they're not going to tell us, like, hey, left this money here, like, it's like when you leave too much money at a restaurant or something, like, they're not going to come after you most of the time, like 80% of the time, no one's going to say a damn thing to you.
Right.
They're not going to tell you a thing. Like, I had a video I did just talking crap in my closet about the VA clothing allowance. And literally I had like 23,000 views in like a month or something. That was wild. I was just like, really? Like the one time, like I don't have my makeup on, like I look crazy. My hair is like this. Like I'm like one time, like I could do this all day, but no, I'm talking shit in my closet. Like y'all want to share the shit out of it. But at the end of the day, yeah, you never know. But like, and Mark Holman's like, yeah, it's always when you're talking shit that people watch him more. I'm like, you could have told me that before, Mark. He's the UFC Hall of Famer. He's kind of legendary for his crap talk. Pretty amazing guy. He's one of our previous guests as well. But at the end of the day, though, it is really important to know your claims, especially now with the PACT Act passing. There's so many new things that have just recently passed for Vietnam era veterans. Like, it's ridiculous. I can't recommend to my veterans enough to review it, even if you don't think it applies to you, just because of the fact that there's so much information as far as new claims that they shoved into there. It's crazy. And at the end of the day, like, veterans really need to know what is entitled to them. And if you're not your own best advocate, no one else is going to do it for you.
I think it comes up to kind of like what you said at the beginning of the show, as far as being aware of your, what issues you have, and coming out and being truthful that you have some kind of issues. I mean, I think that's some of it too, maybe, pride and like, I'm okay. I don't need to go to the.
Well, I've had a lot of women veterans, like, they're ashamed, like, because they were assaulted or something happened to them. And they didn't identify as a veteran for like 15 years, 20 years.
I can see that.
And like the first event I'd been to as a speaker, they showed up and they came to the event and they said, oh my gosh, like, this is the first event I've been to as a veteran. And I'm like, what? Like, how long have you been out? And they're like, 15 years. I'm like, what? But, a lot of people, they feel ashamed of their service, and it's a total thing with service shaming, and it shouldn't be. We should all be like, what's up, guys? But unfortunately, it's like, who's got to have the biggest or best, and it's just like, no, man, like, just accept each other, because right now we're dying in crazy numbers right now. And we need to be sticking together rather than burning the hell out of each other. And that's not happening enough. And that's why I do all the wild stuff I do through my podcast, because at the end of the day, be the change you want to see, right? That's how I look at it. And I'm sure you very much understand that better than anybody. You see that there's a need, and, you're going about like tackling it, especially first responders. I worked EMS, man. I got covered by crap-covered crackhead, like chased by crap-covered crackheads so many times. Like, they don't get thanked enough at all. Like, I can tell you that from experience. Like, I've had like girls chase me with tire irons and all kinds of stuff. Man, I'm not a fast runner. And they see I'm even slower now. I look like a gimpy T-Rex because of my zombie leg. It's just no. But like, at least it's not a wheelchair, but damn, it's not much faster. Sure as hell. No, it's not even faster, because Maggie was smoking my ass in her wheelchair. Like, so we have like a suicide bomber survivor, and we took her to get it tattooed by an ink master in October with Chris Plinston.
Oh, wow.
And when he tattooed her, like, she was like smoking me. She's like half a mile down the airport. I'm dying. And I'm like holding her 40-pound leg, because like her leg malfunctioned on the flight. And like, she couldn't depressurize it enough. And so I'm literally carrying a full human leg walking through the airport. Like, this isn't fucking weird at all. Like, dude, it's a 40-pound leg. Like, it's not no, it's like in the actual leg, that's what it weighs. Like, I don't know why that's the decision that someone made. Like, damn it. Like, we're disabled. It needs to be less than the actual leg.
You would think. You would think.
Like I feel bad for RoboCop, but that's all. And Murphy, definitely. Like, I feel super sorry for Murphy. She got the hose. Like, she had to pick his ass up. Like, how many times? Like, that wasn't discussed enough in RoboCop. I had to go my little.
There's probably not enough podcasts that mention RoboCop.
Because it's me. But no, I had to. It was a joke. But yeah. Either way, though, definitely, guys, reach out, blanketsofhonor.org. And I know they're really fast at getting back on Instagram, and they're on all the social media platforms. And if you want to see their videos, check them out on YouTube, which I think is amazing that they post those videos. I like seeing those videos because it warms my cold dead heart, to see veterans, recognize when they thought that their service was all but invisible, right? And I think that, being seen sometimes is not a bad thing as a veteran. And I know we tend to scurry away. Or a first responder, I didn't do anything, and try to minimize. At the end of the day, guess the fuck you did. And you raised your right hand, and we respect you guys, and someone nominated you. So at the end of the day, here's your blanket. Thank you for your service. And, if you guys want to help support, donate, definitely reach out to blanketsofhonor.org. And I know I will definitely be trying to work where I can, or volunteer how I can out here in Texas. That way you guys get more coverage out down this way. Because I know you guys are like on the East Coast and here, there, and everywhere. And that's a lot of places to be at once. But
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I know. The miles in my car.
We stay busy.
Right. Busy. But all right, guys, well, have a good night. And tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next Wednesday, not next Thursday, because I'm going to be headed to Sister Cecilia's tattoo shops. I'm pretty excited about all of that. So Operation Tattooing Freedoms, Cecilia Marie, she's come on our show a few times as well. She was actually just recognized by the Ad Council. I was pretty proud of her. So she tattoos veterans of PTSD and donates her tattoos, or not or all of them, a good amount of them. Right, and she was recognized on the Ad Council at the Ad Council Awards last week. So it was amazing to see her in this amazing dress and, you know, fully tattooed, inked up, purple hair, beautifully done. Like, right. She looked amazing. So I can't wait to see her. She's got like a year wait or something crazy. Yeah, but she is a huge veteran advocate. And it was awesome to interview May with her on. So I like that we could show the diversity of veterans. And hey, Phil. So Phil is also a big advocate in the veteran community. He does a lot for Gold Star parents and families. So I think that's amazing. That veterans are, and just people in general are supporting the veteran community in that way. And thank you guys so much for what you guys are doing out of Blankets of Honor. And definitely, we can't wait to have you guys back on again. And let us know if you guys have anything upcoming. And that way we can make sure to share it.
Yeah, we'll do. And maybe next time we'll get Manny on here too. He'll be more entertaining for sure.
Of course, definitely. Yeah. You gotta have the unofficial shit talker. Definitely, that's a rule. Yeah. But again, guys, we will see you next Wednesday. And be good at it. Bye.
Thank you.